When it is time for an employee to return to work after time off, do you create a return to work plan? Do you even let them return? Do you write them off? Or do you value your employee and try to make their transition back as smooth and as supported as possible? This video will provide guidelines for how to make your return to work process inclusive. Module Outcomes. In this module, we will explain what an inclusive return to work plan is, identify what elements need to be included in your return to work plan, and produce an inclusive return to work policy based on suggested guidelines. When an employee who is experiencing a disability is absent for a prolonged period, it costs you money. The financial loss is not just in benefit payments, but also a loss in productivity. Employers may not be inclined to welcome the employee back, believing the employee is not able to perform the work well. Rationale. Including the employee when designing an inclusive return to work plan can create a successful reintegration into the workplace. A good plan helps retain talented and competent employees. An inclusive and accessible workplace will be better prepared and equipped to implement the plan and any accommodations needed. If your employee has been on a leave of absence due to a disability, they have a right to return to their job or a similar job. A return to work plan clarifies the employee's needs and expectations. It is a central document that can be used as a reference and updated as circumstances change. It is a collaboration between the employer, employee, and the workers' compensation agency, human resource personnel, or union representative. If you deny your employee the opportunity to return to work, you did not fulfill your duty to accommodate, and you have likely violated employment standards legislation. Best practices for inclusive return to work. The purpose of an inclusive return to work plan is to enable an employee to return to the position they held prior to their time off. Find out what your employee's needs and expectations are. Identify any barriers and determine solutions or accommodations to overcome them. The timeline, plan, and accommodations need to be clearly communicated. The timeline needs to reflect a reduced workload and a gradual increase in hours to return to work. Within the plan, employers should openly discuss any workplace changes that occurred while the employee was absent. Resources and programs may be used to support the return back to work in a safe and timely manner. An inclusive return to work policy removes barriers. It clearly sets expectations for how you want people to act in the workplace. Effective policies are written in collaboration with management and staff. Your policy needs to adhere to relevant legislation, human rights requirements, and your organization's rules for inclusive communications. When creating your policy, you need to include a statement and make it publicly available to show your commitment to accessibility. To begin, it is important that you review your current practices to identify challenges and places for improvement. When writing your policy, you need to state the purpose of the policy, who will be responsible for administering it, and the effective date. Your policy should include a list of actions that you want your employees to take. Don't forget to add this inclusive policy to your larger return to work policy. Example of an inclusive return to work policy. Your company has a return to work process for employees who are unable to perform any or all of their normal duties as a consequence of an injury or illness. The return to work process begins immediately after the injury or illness occurs. Your company will work in collaboration with the injured or ill employee to identify alternate or modified work that is both productive and safe. It is expected that employees will cooperate fully in facilitating the timely return to work and accept alternate or modified work that is within their skills and abilities. Any personal medical information will be held in the strictest confidence. After creating your policy, communicate it to your company and provide staff training. Summary. If your employee has been on a leave of absence due to a disability, they have a right to return to their job or a similar job. A return to work plan is a collaboration between the employer, employee, a workers' compensation agency, or a human resource personnel or union representative. The plan will address your employees' needs and expectations. Barriers are identified and solutions are determined. The timeline, plan, and any accommodations need to be clearly communicated. Creating an inclusive return to work policy requires you to analyze your workplace and determine what is working and what is not. You will need to identify the challenges you face and laws in your jurisdiction. Delegate someone to administer and implement the policy. We encourage you to access the toolkit for further information, examples, and templates. So get started.